The video review will start in a few seconds, but if you're watching this on YouTube, remember, if you have a question, comment, or suggestion for me, you can post it on 3dgameman.com, and the link is provided below. Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3dgameman.com, and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the NZXT H230 case. The case box really isn't much to look at, but it does have plenty of pictures of the product on it, as well as some features and specifications about it, and a couple of holes, one on either side for easy carrying. It's packaged well between two pieces of styrofoam and in a styrofoam bag. They have this protective plastic at the front of the case. Let me remove that. Now this is a mid-tower case, and it's what most people will go for because it's a great size for a case. It's not too large and it's not too small, and it fits pretty much everything that you're going to need on the inside. This case comes in two different colors, black and white, and it's mainly comprised of steel but does have some plastic parts. Now as you can see, there isn't a window on the left side, there's nothing on the right side neither, and the top is plain. Conveniently located at the top is the power button, reset button, microphone jack, headphone jack, and two USB 3 ports. The front door is super glossy, just like the rest of the exterior of the case, and while this looks brilliant, it will attract dust and fingerprints super easily. Notice here as well on this front door that they have a silver accent piece, and their logo is at the bottom. Now this door is held into place via magnets. It swings this way, and it cannot be reversed. It cannot swing from the other side, so in some situations that might be an issue. They include three 5¼ drive bays, and these drive bay covers pop off really easily. Just push this way on the lever and they come right out. Notice all of the ventilation at the front as well as on the left side, but they also have more on the bottom. This is to allow the one included 120mm intake fan to intake cool air inside the case. Now while they only have one 120mm fan installed, you can install another optional 120mm fan at the front if you choose. Now this front panel comes off really easily. Just pull at the bottom, and note on the inside they do include a dust filter. Here's that included 120mm intake fan, but you can install another one if you want to. At the back of the case they include another fan. This is a 120mm exhaust fan. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed. They include 7 ventilated expansion slots, extra ventilation here, some punch outs. These are for routing tubes and or cables through, and at the bottom is where you'd install a standard ATX power supply. And note, they include 4 thumb screws, 2 on each side panel. Now there's acoustic dampening material on the left and right side panels, but they do not have any at the top, bottom, back, or front, but still this will help reduce the computer noise. Now since this is a mid-tower case, there's a fair amount of room to work on the inside, but unfortunately the motherboard tray is not removable. However, on the motherboard tray they do have a large hole for the cooler's retention plate, as well as lots of other holes for organizing the cables, and on the opposite side of the motherboard tray they have punch outs so you can use cable ties to organize the cables back there. And while there's not a lot of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel, it should be more than enough. Remember, you do have acoustic dampening material on that right side panel, so it's going to decrease the space a little bit. As I mentioned previously, they include 3 5¼ drive bays, and each of these has a toolless design. You can also install up to 6 3.5" or up to 6 2.5" drives, but to do so you'll need to access them and install them from the other side. I'll show you that in just a minute. Note that they have 2 compartments, so you can fit 3 drives in each. Now video card length will vary. It depends on whether you have this hard drive cage installed or not. If you have it installed, you can fit a video card that is up to approximately 29 centimeters in length, or 290mm in length. If you have it removed, you can fit a video card that is up to around 40 centimeters or 400mm in length. Now power supply length will vary as well. It depends on whether you have an optional 120mm fan installed at the bottom or not, but if you do not have a fan installed here at the bottom, you can fit a power supply that's up to approximately 29 centimeters in length. And note that they include 4 soft feet for the power supply to lodge on. And you can fit a CPU cooler that is up to 158 millimeters in height. No fancy design here on the expansion slots, but thumb screws are more than adequate, and they have a thumb screw on each expansion slot. Installing and removing 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch drives is super easy, but you will need to remove the right side panel. Just pinch here, pull it out. Installation of a 3.5-inch drive is a toolless design. Just pop it into place and slide this back in. But installation of a 2.5-inch drive will require 4 screws, and they do include screws for installing 2.5-inch drives. Now, they include an accessory box, and in it they have all the screws required for installing the drives, motherboard, and other computer components, as well as cable ties for organizing the cables, and a user's manual. Oh, and by the way, this top drive cage is really easy to remove because they use thumb screws. Now, since we're back here, have a look at the opposite side of the motherboard tray. Here's the hole for the cooler's retention plate, as well as many other holes for organizing the cables, as well as the punch outs here for attaching the cables to. And before I mentioned that there isn't a tremendous amount of space behind the motherboard tray on the right side panel, well, that space is actually 14 millimeters. So like I said, it is certainly enough space to route cables. At the bottom are 4 fairly tall audio-video style feet, and each one of these has a rubber insert, so they have excellent anti-vibration properties and they will not scratch the surface. Now, it's important to have feet that are fairly tall. These aren't super tall, but they are definitely adequate if you are putting the case on a soft surface like carpet. You want to keep the case off the surface like that, so you can allow the bottom fan or fans to intake cool air. Now, speaking of intaking, they include a large removable dust filter for the power supply's intake fan and the optional 120 millimeter fan that you can install here. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling. If you're looking for a classic case that has pretty much all the features that you should be looking for in a mid-tower case, and it's not going to break the bank, this just might be it. Overall, this is a kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and please note that pricing for this product is available on the 3D Game Man video review page.